You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? In episode 7, I saw the TV glow with young adult drama. The pink opaque is a thing, but is it Amber and Scott's thing? Find out what they would do when the lines between reality and fiction get a little too blurry. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
You find yourself in the unique position.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do with it?
Put yourself in my place.
What would you do?
Oh, well, put yourself in my position. This doesn't sound too good.
What would you do?
How do you want to handle this?
What would you do? Put yourself in my shoes, would you?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Just put yourself in their shoes.
Now it's your turn.
WT actual F.
I saw the TV glow. Did you see the TV glow?
Okay, I saw the TV glow. A classmate introduces teenage Owen to a mysterious late-night TV show, a vision of a supernatural world beneath their own. In the pale glow of the television, Owen's view of reality begins to crack. I kind of don't know where to start with this one.
I mean, they both had me and lost me at pink opaque.
Yeah, so just a very brief overview of the film for our audience. So these two teenagers, a gal and a guy, watch this late night TV show that has like supernatural partnership fighting an evil. What was the name of the moon?
Mr. Melancholy.
Yes, Mr. Melancholy. And the gal is obsessed with the TV show, and the boy isn't allowed to stay up late enough to watch it. So she kind of helps him watch the TV show secretly initially by sneaking him over and then by giving him tapes. And then later in the show, do you want to get into what happens?
She basically just disappears for a decade and then kind of shows up out of nowhere. And she's all like, hey, so you know that TV show? Are we sure it was a TV show and only a TV show? Because maybe it was something a little bit more than that. Like maybe I was there. And I feel like this is the what would you do moment. Because the truth is I didn't feel like there were a ton of those questions to come up. But if you haven't seen someone that became a pretty good friend of yours in, I believe it was 8 years. And
this is started back in, I believe it was 1996, and then she disappeared around 98 or something. So we do have a time lapse in regards to going back from when the story started.
Yes. So it's a very interesting situation, actually, because this is someone that obviously he had grown close to, at least in his own mind. He had grown very close to her. I don't know if they actually truly grew as close as he was envisioning it in his head, because they didn't talk very much. It was mostly a mutual bonding over this one show where she would send him a tape and he would watch the tape, and she would another tape with like a note on it.
They were both obsessed with the TV show, and that was their one and only connection that we saw in the film was.
Yes, but they even made a point that like for 2 years he said I couldn't speak more than 3 words to her, but I got tapes from her.
Yeah.
So, but okay, you see them again after 8 years. You thought they were dead.
You mean the gal?
Yeah, like he thought that she had died, and now he's hearing you did what?
So if someone in your life, as in what would you do, came up to you and someone you had known from your past and you hadn't talked to for a while and said, hey, remember when we used to, do this in high school or hang out here in college or whatnot? Do you think that really happened? Are you fuzzy about the we were watching that, or were we in it?
Well, I wasn't fuzzy before, but now, Jesus, which actually is kind of what I feel like happened. First he was like, no, I'm good, and then she allowed significant doubt to creep in. And the truth is man, I can't even tell you necessarily which parts of the movie were like visions and which ones were just straight supernatural shit. So
it's almost like a sci-fi teen angst angle of gaslighting. Like someone saying something and then you're like, wait, is that true? Are we actually characters in a show where we're watching ourselves and this isn't really our life and I'm not who I think I am? If you're a young kid, which, you know, when she came back, he was, you know, around 22 or so.
Yeah, I mean, he got first introduced at 12 and she was 14. And while 2 years isn't a huge age difference, when you're 12 and 14 and one's in high school and one's in junior high, that's an enormous age difference. So it kind of put her on this weird pedestal type thing, I feel like, for him, that like she was going to get any and all benefit of the doubt on anything, even if it was ludicrous. And I think that's where it came in. Not necessarily blind believing, but...
Well, he was an uncertain, awkward, mild-mannered character, so probably more susceptible to suggestion than someone with a bit more confidence, more outgoing with friends. And
I also think the character was written to be slightly autistic. I mean, that's just, especially when they talk about, at one point they were like, look me in the eyes. And because he didn't want to look him in the eyes, that's kind of an...
Well, also, too, he had just seen the guy getting it on with somebody, so maybe you're not necessarily all eye contact after that. But what would you do? So someone says, hey, you know, were we really in Mrs. Collins' class in 10th grade, or were we just watching it? If someone came up to you and actually kind of questioned your version of reality, what does that look like to you?
So it's interesting. At that age, it's probably a different answer than what I would have now.
So if you're 28, early 20s, let's say, like the main character and the other one was...
It's actually probably the opposite of what you're thinking. If I'm in my 20s and somebody comes up, I'm like, girl, we buds, but get the fuck out of town. This is not real.
But do you answer with sass or do you answer with concern? Like, is it a mental health issue?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to treat this as a mental health issue. Now, again, this is where it starts to get a little weird because you're not sure, like, what if this was actually, like, supernatural? Like, was it obviously in the real world? No, none of that was going to be real. But in that world, was it? I mean, it was enough that he certainly got his own descent into madness later. But, I mean, at one point, it looked like they were engaging in a just straight up suicide pact. So,
which he wanted no part of.
Well,
you know?
I mean, at first he was, I mean, you can tell he didn't want to go suicide, but he was.
She led him along a couple times where he was not eager to go throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But what do you say to someone in that instance? I mean, are you questioning your own version of reality? Are you supporting them but secretly getting help? Do you start to question, is there possibility here?
And this is one of those instances where I feel like you do have to bring age into a factor here because obviously we're not teenagers or 20-somethings.
But were we? And was it just a TV show? And we've been older all along, and you know, all that teen years and high school fun was just a TV show and wasn't really real. Maybe we were born as full-grown adults.
Yeah, that's the total recall effect. And believe it or not, I every once in a while will have a weird random thought about that thing about total recall. I'm like, have I really only been around for like a month and they randomly planted me with you? Like, are you going to turn on me and try to kill me here soon? Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the show goes.
We'll see. Yeah, I will tell you from a, like, playing it down from the thing that's as I'm getting older, I'm learning not to trust my memory as much because it's not always right. And I'm having to sometimes yield to somebody else saying, no, it was like this. Here, I can frickin' prove it. And then they do. I'm like, oh, my mind's going. That sucks.
So where is that line then with someone saying something and you believing it versus questioning them?
I mean, I think it's definitely somewhere before crawling into an unmarked grave at the back of a football field. Like, I think I can draw the line prior to getting my foot in that grave.
Yeah. Yeah, that was toward the end of the movie for sure.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
it makes you wonder. I don't think there's a real simple answer here, because if someone approached you with this, I don't think anyone would know exactly what to say in that moment.
Well, I mean, you say someone, but this wasn't just someone. Like, this was like...
It was someone that he had a bizarre attachment with based on one TV show. So when she's saying the TV show, they're actually the characters in the TV show, even though both of the characters were women. Let's bring that up as well. But other than that, they had no relationship, and she was kind of weird too. So they were both awkward in different ways. But if someone says, hey, we're not the people we think we are, and we're actually these two characters who fight monsters, and you know, come back with me to that place because you're not really who you think you are. Like, I'm sure probably some drunken bros would be like, oh, dude, you're crazy. But, you know, in a different context of a normal conversation, if someone says that to you, I think my initial reaction would be maybe a little concern.
Well, I mean, she went out of her way to find him, want to talk to him, take him someplace away from where they were. Like, she set up this conversation. All of her actions leading up to the conversation actually seemed reasonably normal and sane. So when somebody is
oh, see, to me they didn't at all. They seemed unnecessarily cloak and dagger. Like, meet me at the school at midnight. And
well, oh yes, it's cloak and daggery, but it's still something that's clearly been thought out. Like, we're going to go here to talk about this and here to do this. Like it seems, again, maybe a little on the cloak and dagger side, but you could tell that she was freaked out by something. And if you're freaked out by something, you're going to want to be in a safe space talking about it. So I feel like there was enough setup, and between that and the attachment that I could see him saying, okay, I'm going to hear you out. And then after hearing her out, I mean, he was 22, which is still very, very young. And it could be enough to confuse.
Yeah, he definitely had his own version of an episode when he got home from that conversation. But it's an interesting something to think about, because difficult conversations like that can just pop up out of nowhere. And if someone brings something to us that seems to divert from the reality that we know, it almost makes me feel like we should know how to handle those conversations in advance. Not that someone's going to say, hey, you know, did you realize we're characters in a TV show? But if that wasn't sci-fi and it was mental health, I would like to think that I would be somewhat prepared to be able to know what to do. And I don't think most people are, unless they have that situation already in their life and they have that life experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a consider the source guy. Like, if somebody I don't know comes up and says something like that, I'm just going to dismiss it as they're being crazy. But if it's somebody like you who's very close to me...
Oh, you wouldn't believe me.
I'd listen.
You don't listen to other stuff, so I don't know why you'd listen to that.
No, I listen. I mean, I'm going to come up with my own conclusions. I do listen. So,
yeah, it was an interesting thought, and I suppose some issues like that are just not cut and dry. And if someone came up to me and said I was a character in a TV show, I guess my first answer would be, did I get a good deal on the merchandising? And where's my bobblehead and where's my cut of the merch?
I mean, yes. On something this wild, I mean, unless my name is like Truman or something like that, yeah, obviously I'm not going to believe that I'm a character in a TV show. But I feel like the What Would You Do does extend a little bit beyond that into the realm of stuff that's more reasonable, like maybe a little far-fetched, but reasonable. So
beware the glow of the television.
Amen.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.